We're going to get going, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone in accordance with the Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025. The Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, 6:30 public meeting of the Wrentham Select Board shall be conducted remotely. The public is invited to join in via Zoom. There is instructions posted on the town's website and how to log in. As a preliminary matter, this is Select Board Chair Chris Gallo. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on this meeting and on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, kindly respond in the affirmative. Selectman Jim Anderson.
Anderson here.
Selectman Bill Harrington.
Harrington here.
Selectwoman Michelle Rouse. Come back to her. And Selectman Roy Lamoth.
Lamoth here.
Fantastic. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Manager Michael King.
Present.
Assistant Town Manager Greg Enos.
Affirmative.
Executive Assistant Amanda Vazzapolo.
Present.
Great. I'm going to pause for a quick second, Mike. Does someone want to, do you want to text Michelle?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Just sent.
Beautiful. Just give her a second. Public, we appreciate your patience. I just want to make sure that there's no issue with Selectwoman Rouse. In the meantime, Mike, why don't we go to tab 1 in the meantime, and I'll ask Selectman Harrington to read the announcements, if that's okay?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Announcements for this evening's Select Board meeting. The Wrentham Food Pantry, located at 1 East Street, is available to assist those in need. See the town website for more information and details on how to donate. The Wrentham Fire Department will be at the Senior Center on November 5th at 1 p.m. to discuss the importance of carbon monoxide alarms, heating safety tips during the winter months. Call or email the Senior Center to RSVP. Shred Day, November 5th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Senior Center. Bring your documents for shredding. This is a free service for Wrentham residents, sponsored by the Wrentham DPW and E.L. Harvey. Paper only, no discs or other material accepted. The 2025-2026 snow plow driver contract is now available. Apply by November 15th to be eligible for a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Wrentham Fire Department will be at the Senior Center on Thursday, November 20th at 12:30, presenting emergency preparedness planning and smoke alarms. Contact the Senior Center to RSVP. Wrentham Police and Fire are hosting a poultry plunge on Saturday, November 22nd, to benefit the Special Olympics. Find more information on the website. I also want to add, please join the Select Board, Veterans Advisory Board, and members from the American Legion for a Veterans Day ceremony next Tuesday, November 11th, starting at 10:55 on the Common. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great catch, Selectman Harrington. Thank you. So that's the announcements. We will go into tab number 2. We do have a public hearing in 1 minute, but we can start at any time after 6:35. So I think let's get through the minutes. Let's approve the minutes, and then I think it will time up just nicely. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the October 16th, 2025 and October 21st, 2025 open session meeting minutes.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. There she is, Selectwoman Rouse.
Yes.
Selectman Anderson.
Anderson's a yes.
Selectman Harrington.
Harrington, yes.
Selectman Lamoth.
Lamoth, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Great job. Okay, so we're going to go to tab number 3, everyone. So what this is a continuation from the 10/21 Select Board meeting regarding a signage request blind or deaf child on Gilmore Road. In our documentation, we have an email from, is it Alima Tahani, regarding the safety. Did I get that correct? Say that again.
Yeah, Alima.
Alima, thank you for
Alima
that.
Tijani.
We'll be with you, and thank you for the correction. You're probably gonna have to do that a few more times, but we'll
You're
be with you in just 2 minutes, okay? But thank you for being with us this evening.
Okay.
In our packet, select board, there is
Okay.
there is there is the letter from Mrs. Tajani, and again, I apologize if I screwed that up. There's also the letters that we saw before from the last meeting. There's the neighbors, emails from the DPW director, email from the fire chief. I'm sorry, police chief. I apologize. We have this letter, Selectman Harrington. I know we have Alima with us, but if you want to just read this into the record for those who don't have our packets, and then we will get this public hearing open. And Mike, I don't have to officially open it because it's a continuation, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so consider it open, and Selectman Harrington, do you mind reading that into the record?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the letter is to Mike King and Amanda Vaspolo, request safety sign on Gilmore Road. It's dated October 21st. Dear Town Administrator and members of the Board of Selectmen, I hope this message finds you well. I was not able to join the meeting earlier due to technical difficulties and just overall difficulties with access. My name is Alima Tajani. I hope that's correct. And I'm a new resident of Wrentham living on Gilmore Road. I'm writing to respectfully request the installation of 2 safety signs on our cul-de-sac. First, a reduced speed or child at play sign to remind drivers to slow down when entering and exiting the street. Number 2, a deaf and blind child warning sign for the safety of my 13-year-old son, who is deaf and blind and nonverbal. Although Gilmore Road is a quiet area, vehicles sometimes travel faster than is safe for a residential neighborhood. My son's condition make it difficult for him to detect approaching vehicles, and directly across the street lives a family with a toddler who often plays outside. These circumstances have made it especially important that the drivers are aware of and exercise extra caution. I believe these signs would make a meaningful difference in keeping all our children and neighbors safe. Thank you very much for your time, attention, and commitment to the well-being of the Wrentham residents. I would be happy to provide additional information or discuss the request further. Warm regards, Alima Chadani, 80 Gilmore Road, Wrentham, Mass. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Selectman Harrington. So as this was a continuation, just to bring everyone back up to speed, we heard from some of the neighbors, some of the residents on that road. We heard from our DPW director. I think we also heard from our police chief, if I'm not mistaken, or minimally there was an email in our packet. However, we're leaning very favorably towards this request, but because we didn't have Alima on with us, just for different reasons, we wanted to make sure that she was okay with this, being the child's mother, guardian. Now that she's on the meeting with us, I would like her to take a minute or two, if she would like, to address the board. I'll then open it up to the board members and the public to make any comments that they might have, and then we'll go towards a vote. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Alima, do you mind unmuting and just kindly, state your name and address to the board, and then just give us a quick, summary of the letter we just read into the record and what your thoughts are regarding this.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name's Alima Tijani, a new resident at 80 Gilmore Road. I'm a single mom. I have 3 kids. I have twins. They're 13, one of whom is the person we're discussing. And then I also have a 10-year-old. So my son is Donald. He's 13, he's deaf and blind and nonverbal. And just having the sign up will give me some relief in a way, to know that if he were to ever just go around the fenced yard that we have, that he'll be safe. But I know sometimes I see cars kind of come by really fast, and with my son's limitations, there's really no way for him to be safe. And so since we've moved in, I've actually not allowed my kids to like even play on the street, because like my 10-year-old wants to go on the scooter and go down the street, and I haven't let her do that just because of fear of cars coming down fast and not able to stop in a timely manner. So having a sign up for reduced speed and one that says, I don't know if child would be appropriate because he's 13, not really sure about that, but just a sign to say that someone lives there that's deaf and blind will be very helpful, and personally will put my rest. And then also seeing that other children are around the neighborhood, I think other parents, grandparents will feel safer in the neighborhood that's already safe.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that,
And-
Alima. First of all, I'd like to, I'm sorry, did you have something else to say?
No, that was it. Thank
Okay.
you.
No, thank you. I just want to I just want to say that we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us this evening. Let me back up. Welcome to Wrentham, being a new resident. It's great to have you here. I completely can respect the single mother, all the things you must be juggling. I grew up in a single mother household, so I know you got a lot on your plate. So let's see if the board can do the right thing and help ease at least one of your concerns. I do so full disclosure, this wasn't presented as two signs. It was presented as one to us. So I do want to have to check in with Brian Antonoli, our DPW director, as well as our town manager, Mike King, on that protocol. But what I do want to do before I get to that is I'll open this up to my board members, my fellow board members, to see if anyone has any questions or comments. Then we'll open it up to the general public for questions and comments. And then we'll get back to our DPW director and town manager as to, is it one sign, is it two signs? Because we have we try to follow a policy. We just put a sign policy in place. Having the public hearing is one of the parts of the sign policy. We're trying to just make sure we have plenty of transparency in these decisions that we make as a board. So with that being said, I'm going to open up to the rest of the board, starting with Selectwoman Rouse. Do you have anything to add or ask?
I don't. That was a very great description and information, so no further questions for me.
Excellent. Selectman Anderson.
I think, Mr. Chair, I'd be very supportive of a sign on Gilmore Road.
Excellent. Selectman Harrington.
No, Mr. Chair, I'm good with it. Everything was explained in detail. Public safety's on board, as am I.
Great. Selectman Lamoth.
Yes, we beat this up last week and I'm on board. We're good.
Excellent. Anyone from the public? I know we heard from a lot of the neighbors and surrounding people last week. Does anyone from the public want to quickly address the board regarding this topic? Okay, seeing none. Brian Antonoli, Mike King. What's the policy or procedure? You know, this came to us as one sign. I think the request now looks like there might be two signs. What do you guys suggest we do? How do we handle this? Can we tackle both with one? Mike?
My suggestion would be this evening to stick as to what was advertised, which was the blind and deaf child sign. I believe if you were going to be talking about different signs, we should provide the public appropriate notice.
All right, thank you. Brian Antonoli, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. The sign indicating the deaf child, deaf and blind child, we already have locations picked out. I just gotta order the signs so that they can put up pretty quickly. Speed limit sign there's also more of a process with that. I think based on the density of that road, that's probably it's gonna be a 30-mile-an-hour road. So if we were to vote at any point to put up a sign, it's gonna be a 30-mile-an-hour limit sign.
Yeah.
Unless we do other things to change town policy to do something like 25. Like a lot of communities have gone to any road that's not posted is 25 miles an hour. So that's something the town could consider down the, taking up something like that. I know I've gotten some emails in the past for 20, can't do 20, that's school zone only. Safety zones, 15 is not a real speed limit. We do have that sign on some of our roads, which shouldn't be there. I don't think the town put them up, but they are. So I would recommend in the future, we look into like I said, a 25-mile-an-hour limit for any road that's not posted.
Yeah, so the recommendation I have per the last meeting was, we have this new sign policy, for this type of sign. A speed limit policy, as you indicated, and as Mike indicated in the last meeting, is a whole nother set of processes. So I think the select board could take that moving forward, put it on our to-do list to come up with, a speed sign policy, Mike. Let's add that to the agenda, one of the future agendas. But for right now, I think let's control what we can control, and let's vote on the let's vote on the sign, the blind deaf child sign, as it was presented to us. Any other further discussion before I go to a motion? Okay, what I need to do first, though, is now that we had public comment, I need to vote to close the public hearing. So at this time, Chair, would entertain a motion to close the signage request blind deaf child Gilmore Road public hearing.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Yes.
Anderson,
Anderson's yes.
Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Lamoth,
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Public hearing is now closed. Now, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the request for a blind deaf child sign in the proximity of 80 Gilmore Road as determined by Director of Public Works, and the sign shall be in accordance with Mass DOT standards.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse,
Yes.
Anderson,
Anderson's a yes.
Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Lamoth,
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much for everyone who participated in this. Appreciate everyone's contributions. We will again put on a speed sign policy at one of our future select board meetings, and the public will be notified and invited to attend. So we're going to move on at this point. We're going to go to, excuse me, tab number 4, which is another public hearing. This public hearing is the 645 adoption of the rules and regulations for holders of alcoholic beverage licenses. So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse. I think she said yes.
Yes.
Selectman Anderson,
Yeah, Anderson's a yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Lamoth,
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now we got to vote to waive the reading of the public hearing notice. So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion to vote to waive the reading of the public hearing notice.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectman Anderson. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Rouse,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Lamoth,
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Here we are into discussion. So this is also a continuation of a policy, and I have to adjust the record. I misspoke at the last meeting. I said we were adjusting an existing alcoholic beverages license policy. Well, I forgot we don't have one. That's why we're doing this. So I apologize to the crowd and to my fellow select board members. I'm going to let Mike King chime in a second, but just as a summary, Michelle Rouse and I took this, as a little bit of a side project. We worked with Mike King and the attorneys offline to hone down, and I made a joke last meeting, and I was corrected for that joke about a 450-page document that was a little onerous, that we kind of got down to a nice slim packet, but it's concise. It gives definitions. The intent here is not to adjust any of the existing license holders' licenses. This is a policy for new licenses moving forward. If there ever becomes an issue with existing licenses, we can address those upon renewal. I just think this is a great first step. And we do have the summary in our packet of the draft. So Mike King, do you have anything to add before we get into discussion, public comment, and then a vote?
I think you touched upon all the major points, Mr. Chair, and I'll just reiterate that adopting this policy tonight does not affect existing licensee hours And we also have Attorney Castro from MTC with us this evening in case the board has any questions.
Okay, before we get into public comment, board members, do any of you have any additional feedback, questions, concerns, or comments before I open it up to the public? Yes, Roy, go right ahead. Lamar.
First, I want to thank you, Michael, for making the adjustments to the, and the clarifications to the hours. And I was just wondering, and maybe attorney can help us here. Last time I asked about the need for a disciplinary and incident log. And I'm not sure I saw that in the second draft, whether that's a requirement by mass law or something we should adopt.
Yeah, if I could answer, is there if I take this, Mike? You good?
Yeah, go, I mean,
Yeah.
try
So Mike raised this question to me, and he and I discussed it. In short, there is no such requirement under the law. I also just double check with the ABCC. I mean, I have a great relationship with those guys there. So if I want to check, I just give them a ring. Head of licensing and the director as well. And there is no such requirement, and it would kind of be a redundancy to put it in the policy, because when you're applying for a transfer, and I think that was one of your concerns was transfers, they're required to report any violations. It's a requirement. There's nothing prohibiting you from including that in the policy. Nothing unlawful about it, but there's no requirement under Chapter 138 or the ABCC regs. Again, when I talked to them, you know, they said it's just because you have to disclose that during the application process and for the transfer process. But like there's also nothing prohibiting the board from putting that in there if they like. So it's up to you guys.
Thanks, Attorney Castro. Any further questions, Roy?
No, I would have liked to have seen it, because as we saw in the last transfer, previous owners didn't do it, and then the subsequent owners did, and vice versa, and it was a little confusing. But good information to know.
Okay. I for one don't think we need that. I think it's overreach. The ABCC, as the attorney just said, you know, they're mandated to report any incidents. So I don't think we need to make that policy into our policy. Personally, if the board wants to talk about it further, we can.
It's only on a transfer. It's no big deal.
Once again, I still don't think we need to do it.
Yep.
But if the other board members want to talk about it, now's the time.
I have no comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we're going to open it up to public comment at this time. Members of the public, please feel free to raise your hand. When we call on you, unmute, please, and direct the board. Please direct all comments through me. And typically when we do this, just so you know, you might see a little clock. You get 2 minutes to give us your comment. You don't have to take 2 minutes, but we give you 2 minutes. Anyone from the public have any comments for our board? I'll give it a minute for 30 seconds. See if anyone does. Okay, looks like we don't. That's great. So at this time, Chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse?
Yes.
Anderson?
Anderson's a yes.
Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Lamoth?
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now that we're closed the public hearing, now it's time to vote. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt the rules and regulations for holders of alcoholic beverage licenses as presented.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectman Anderson. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse?
Yes.
Anderson?
Anderson's a yes.
Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Selectman Lamoth?
Lamoth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Great job, everyone. Appreciate the hard work. Okay, at this time, we have a high-level overview from the Enbridge gas line presentation. Let's go to tab 5. As we go to tab 5, we have with us John Sheridan, I believe. John, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Mr.
hey,
Chairman.
John. Welcome to the meeting. So do you mind telling the board what we're trying to accomplish this evening? I know you have a high-level presentation for us to review something about the gas line.
Yeah, you want me to start it off for us? Great.
And who?
Mr.
Yeah, who are you?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, through you to members of the committee. My name is Guy Glotis. I am the Community and Legislative Liaison for Enbridge, and I'm joined here tonight by John Sheridan, who is the Director of Government Relations, 35 years with Enbridge, and also Nancy Kist, who is the Director for the Land and Right-of-Way Division for Enbridge, who has about 16 years. I'm a former resident of Central Mass and former elected official. And I only say that to you because I used to have just one rule like yours, no secrets. Let us know what's going on in the district with any projects. And I mention that because Enbridge feels very strongly with that same philosophy. We wanted to meet early on and just let you know what Enbridge has proposed. We met with Town Manager Mike King and also your State Representative Marcus Bond. Let me just jump into the pipeline itself. It's the Algonquin pipeline. It starts in New Jersey, moves up into New York, Connecticut, into New England. It's approximately, Mr. Chairman, about 1,100 miles, maybe 1,150 miles total. And it feeds about 50% of the natural gas to all of New England, not only Southeast Massachusetts, but all of New England. And I'm very proud to say we've been providing safe, and I emphasize the word safe, reliable, and dependable natural gas for over 70 years to the region. With that said, Mr. Chairman, when you have a pipeline that's 70 years old, there's obviously challenges that come with it. And I think the biggest challenge everybody on the board realizes, and the people at home that are watching this tonight, are the energy costs. New England has the highest utility costs in the nation, Massachusetts being the highest. And that's really driven by a number of different factors. Number one is the demand. There's been a huge increase in demand. If you think about when that pipeline was built in, say, 1952, and it went through Wrentham, how much Wrentham's changed just since 1992, let alone since 1952. So you have a real increase in demand for the natural gas. Number two, obviously we hit colder than normal temperatures. And number three, there's obviously some infrastructure constraints. There's parts of this pipeline that have what's called a very low flow, meaning they cannot get the amount of natural gas through it to meet the demand. On top of this, Mr. Chairman, I mentioned 50% of the natural gas comes from this pipeline. The rest of it's supplemented mostly through what's called LNG, which is liquid natural gas. And that's imported through the Everett Marine Terminal just north of Boston. Very expensive, very difficult sometimes to transport. But I mention this because that terminal is slated now to be closed within the next several years, which potentially could skyrocket utility costs even more. With that stuff mentioned, again, there seems to be no appetite for new pipelines in the state. As mentioned, high demand, limited supply. So as a result, we think we have a very good solution, which brings us before your board here tonight, Mr. Chairman, and that's the Algonquin Enhancement Project. And basically what we're proposing with the state is that a portion of the pipeline, which is the G1 portion, and that's going to comprise of Mendon, Franklin, Wrentham, in Cumberland, Rhode Island. We're going to propose to change the pipe itself from 16 inches in diameter to 36 inches in diameter. And that's going to greatly increase, I think, the supply for demand. But also, Mr. Chairman, it's not a greenfield new project. It's a brownfield project. And I mention that because it really minimizes the environmental disruption and any community impact. So this simple change in the pipe going from 16 inches to 36 inches will really address all those issues I talked about. It will improve system reliability. It's going to help stabilize energy prices. Matter of fact, Eversource came up with an estimate that just this one enhancement would save $340 million to ratepayers over the next 10 years. It obviously will reduce the need for fuel and coal. and gas usage, but also support economic development. So with that said, I've kind of talked long enough. I know you're on a tight time constraint here with a late night last night, but I will turn it over to John Sheridan and Nancy Kiss just to talk a little bit about the scope of the project, maybe some of the proposed right-of-way of where the pipeline is, and then I'm happy to conclude the presentation as well.
Before we do that though, Guy, if that's okay, I just have a question to ask. Mike King, out of the 11,000 residents in Wrentham, how many have natural gas?
I'm not aware off the top of my head what that might be.
Does anyone, I don't have natural gas. Does anyone have natural gas?
I do.
You do, Billy?
Yes.
Okay.
They ran it down Madison a few years ago. Some people hooked up, but very few.
Okay. Interesting. All right. That's just something that's good information for us to have, how many residents have this. And obviously what the disruption looks like to us and the residents and whatnot. I'm sure you get to that. But go ahead. Thank you, Guy, for that intro. Mr. Sheridan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as Guy, I think, mentioned, the enhanced pipeline capacity is designed to improve system reliability, help stabilize energy prices, reduce reliance on oil and coal usage, especially during the winter months when pipeline constraints force utilities to turn to more carbon-intense backup fuels. And its intent is to support economic development as well. The next slide is really just a project summary. It encompasses 3 states. In Connecticut, we need to add compression at our existing compressor station. These compressor stations are located about every 50 miles along the Algonquin system. They help push the gas through the pipeline to the customer it serves. As Guy had mentioned, this take-up and relay of the existing 16-inch with a 36-inch pipeline within the same right-of-way. This would be for about 7.1 miles, beginning in Mendon and traveling through Bellingham, Franklin, Wrentham, and then Cumberland, Rhode Island. In addition to that, we have a customer in Rhode Island, and we would be upgrading the Algonquin pipeline system for about 5.24 miles with looping in various sections of the pipeline system, again in Rhode Island. We are regulated by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and we certainly comply with all state and local requirements. Just as a footnote, we have a highly experienced team of in-house resources and decades of relevant pipeline siting, permitting, and construction. And really, our key objectives is to inform key stakeholders like we're doing tonight, complement local community infrastructure modifications and activities, identify areas of concern, and we hope to collaborate with stakeholders and mitigate those concerns as the project moves forward. The next slide really provides a high-level overview of the timeline and next steps. And with that, Nancy Kist, who's with our right-of-way and landowner communication, will provide an overview of what that next steps would involve as far as reaching out to landowners.
Thanks, John, and thank you, folks, for giving us the opportunity to present this evening. Can everybody hear me fine?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so the next step for the project is actually its kickoff, right? So we've been kind of planning this, and our other folks have been getting the customers signed up for the project, and now my group, the Lands and Right-of-Way group, will be making outreach to landowners along the existing pipeline route where we're planning to do the work. So within the next week, landowners should receive a letter from us, and that letter is going to introduce the project, similar information to what we've just provided to you folks this evening. It's going to give them that information. It's going to let them know that our survey crews will be out probably beginning early in December, walking our existing pipeline easement to gather data. It'll be a civil survey crew out working our pipeline easement, the majority of which along the G1 route in Wrentham is a 70-foot wide pipeline easement. We have 2 pipelines in the pipeline easement. As John noted, we'll be replacing one of them. Basically, we'll be taking one out of the ground and putting one back into the same place where the old pipeline sat. So in addition to letting landowners know we'll be out doing that survey work within the existing easement, we also are going to ask landowners for permission to survey additional areas of their property. Basically, we're going to look at a zone of 150 feet on either side of the pipeline center line. And we want to gather data to help us design the project and then construct it safely. So the kind of data that they'll be gathering, there'll be environmental teams out there looking for wetlands and water bodies, threatened and endangered species, whether there are any creatures or flora and fauna that we need to protect during construction or avoid by doing any type of rerouting. So that's the type of data they'll be gathering. In addition, there are crews that are called cultural survey crews. They'll be looking for things of historic significance, whether it's historic structures or whether it's different types of things of cultural significance to indigenous populations. Things that we might want to avoid digging up, so they'll do those types of surveys as well. And if needed, we'll also, implement protocols to avoid those types of items if they're discovered along the route. So those letters will go out, as I said, within the week. The survey crews will start hitting the ground in December, and weather permitting, we'll continue them through the winter and spring to gather as much data as we can. If we get a lot of snow on the ground, there of course might be a pause in those activities. And once the snow's gone, we'll be back out in the springtime to gather data that will help the team design the project. So my group will be there throughout the project to answer landowner questions, request that permission and make sure that folks know that just because you gave us permission to survey on your land doesn't mean you're saying you like the project, or that you necessarily even support the project, or that you're giving up any type of land right to us. If we need to get use your property during construction, and it's in areas outside of our existing easement rights, of course we will compensate landowners for the use of their land. So, but we're kind of probably far off, at least a year or so off from making any type of offers to landowners. It's very preliminary. The letter that the landowners are going to get is going to have a survey permission form. It's going to have a description of the survey activities in it. It's going to have project mapping in it, as well as an 800 number for them to call us at if they've got any questions. So that's kind of a high level of what will be happening, beginning in the next week or so and going through the spring of next year. John, back to you.
Thanks, Nancy. And then following that, we'll take the detailed information from the survey, from the engineering field work, and we'll put together detailed mapping that we would share with the public in the late April, early May timeframe, where we would have an open house, a science fair. We would invite the public in to be able to talk to the various disciplines of the company, be able to walk around the room, see the map, see where their home is on the map, and answer. We'll be there to answer any questions that they may have. It's an opportunity for us to provide information about why we're doing the project, the timeline on when we're doing it, and really to address any issues or concerns that they may have at that time. Following the open house, we're looking at filing our FERC application. It's the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission filing that we would make sometime in the August or September timeframe. Following that, we would file whatever environmental permits applications we need to with the state. And then construction would begin sometime in 2029, and in service would be later that year in November of 2029. And so we wanted to provide you with this overview. We wanted to come to you first so that you heard from us firsthand about what we're doing, why we're doing it, so that, as Guy had mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, that you're not surprised that you're hearing it from us directly. And, we appreciate your time this evening and happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Sure. Appreciate the presentation, appreciate the high level presentation and the speed at which you went through it, means a lot. Keeping these high level at this stage, I think is important. Transparency, for us and our constituents obviously is paramount to all. And the questions that I have, and I know there's a lot, to unpack here, and as time goes on, I'm sure a lot of these questions will be answered, but just questions that I have preliminarily before I open it up to the rest of the board is, when we talk about how intrusive this is going to be, for the neighbors, for the wildlife, the species, even like the vegetation and whatnot. Anytime you have crews digging up with this level of construction, there's a certain level of intrusiveness. What do you foresee the level being, like you suggested, could you be taking, over parts of people's property? Will you be, will there be a lot of, well, I don't suspect there'll be a ton of road closure, but will there be, a ton of construction vehicles? Just try to give us a little feel for what you think pertaining to that.
John, I'll let you answer that first, but I think that's probably can be answered once we get the survey letters back from residents. We have to go out, Mr. Chairman, and actually do the surveying work to find out all those answers that you had told us. But again, it's not a greenfield project, it's a brownfield project, and it's within the right of way where the pipe is. So I don't want people to think a different pipeline or a new construction or a new pipeline being built. It's replacing parts of the existing pipeline with a bigger diameter. But I think that's, to answer your question, we have to get in the field. And that's why this very first introductory to landowner survey letters are so important, to give us the opportunity to go out there over the next year and be able to find all that information out and let you know how minimum or how significant the impact will be once construction begins. But John, go ahead.
Sure, no, I appreciate that response. I just understand that my guess is this isn't your first project like this, Guy. So I'm sure you have some data points, projects similar to this you've done in the past, what you've seen. I'm sure that, there's definitely some stuff to go by based on past.
I can say the proposed pipeline is only 2 miles, Mr. Chairman, and a lot of that is not near resident. We actually went through the map with your town manager, Mike King, and a lot of it was not near actually any residential neighborhoods. That's not to say it's not near some, but when you look at the 2 mile stretch, there was some very, non-residential areas, which we were happy to see. But again, I think we have to do a deeper dive, before we answer some of the more specific questions. But, we expect, and John can answer this better, but I think the actual construction itself is actually going to be very quick. It's really the bureaucracy of going through the state, doing the surveying, reporting it to FERC, going to the federal level and getting approval. Most of it in the tenuous part is just the bureaucracy of getting through it. But I think the actual construction itself, John, is about estimated to be just several months, correct?
I think it's about 6 to 8 months. And at the open house, we will have engineers there and environmental team members there that can talk specific to any concerns that landowners or town officials might have specifically to the construction techniques that we use. But when we are out there, we look to minimize impacts because it is not a greenfield. It's really a replacement of the pipe in the same ditch line, that it will have minimal impacts to landowners in the environment in the surrounding community. Nancy, I don't know if you had anything else you might want to add.
Yeah, and part of that, the guy's correct. Part of the survey work that we're going to do is to figure out how close we are to homes or wells or septic systems and all of those things if we're close to a residential area. And there is a good stretch of this in Wrentham that really doesn't look like it's close to homes. There are some places where we are. And when we do construction in residential areas, we do construction differently, and we take care to not cause damage to homes or to people's water lines or sewer feeds or their septic systems what have you, and we plan by doing all of this upfront work now. As you can see from the high level schedule on the screen, there's a lot of work that's going to get done in the planning stage, just so that we can undertake construction for, between 6 and 9 months in 2029.
Sure.
And, and so it's quite an endeavor, the field work that gets done in advance to make sure that things go smoothly during construction. But, construction does come with impacts, and as we know them better, we'll both be back to brief you folks, I'm sure, and we'll be talking individually to the landowners about how to mitigate those impacts on their properties and make sure that, let's say if our pipeline crosses somebody's driveway, that they can get in and out of their house every day, even though we're doing construction work. And if there was a worst case scenario where somebody couldn't get through their driveway, I can tell you, we've paid to put people up in hotels if we've had to, because we can't, get them in and out for some reason. But most times we can arrange for them to get in and out of their house without an issue. But
sure, no,
those
I appreciate, I'm just going to say, I appreciate that. These are the things that come to mind. The second thing that I want to ask, and then I'll turn it over to the board, is, and I don't know if it's probably too early to even have this conversation, but anytime we kind of face a situation like this, and you might have already talked to Mike King about this, he and I haven't spoken about it. You mentioned mitigation. Has there been any consideration or thought, either some kind of mitigation to the town of Wrentham or to some of the residents? As I mentioned, I think we have a very small percentage of people that have access to natural gas in Wrentham. And I, for example, live very close to your pipeline. I just didn't know if any of those conversations or those thoughts were being thrown around, or is it too preliminary to even have those discussions?
It is in the early stages, and obviously we're open to all conversations, and we're going to follow up with both the town manager and obviously the board. But I will say right now, we have actually there's $130,000 paid in revenue to the town that Enbridge offers, and that will increase because the pipeline actually increases. So there will be more revenue coming into the community because of this project. And currently, I have the number right here. It's $130,379.46, which we do pay the town of Wrentham. So, and that will increase, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. Mike King, what bucket does that go into? Does that go into the general fund, or where does that go?
So what he's referring to is personal property tax. So that would be general fund revenue. So
Yep.
if the line were to be upgraded, that would be an improvement to the line, which would increase its value, which would bring in additional tax revenue.
All right, thank you for that. At this time, I'm going to open up to the rest of the board. I personally appreciate the high level introduction to the project, your willingness to be transparent, which is awesome. Selectwoman Rouse, do you have any? Can someone stop sharing, by the way, so we can see everybody? And then Selectwoman Rouse, do you have any additional questions?
So just for people who are listening, this seems to just impact the west side of Wrentham. And I just had one question, Mike, in reviewing this, does this go through any conservation land, and would that be an issue if I'm looking kind of at this map or the over?
Yeah, we're in the process of determining that. So
Okay.
part of what we do initially is obviously identify who all the landowners are, and then we verify ownership by looking at both the tax records on file in the town, as well as pulling deeds. And then we'll, as the project goes along, we'll do a deeper dive to see if there are any conservation restrictions that are associated with the land. So I don't have that answer for you, but we certainly will have that probably within the next 6 months.
Yeah, okay, because it's at West Street, and I was just kind of curious. Okay, thank you. No further questions at this time. Appreciate the information.
Great question. Selectman Anderson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. All my concerns or questions were answered during the presentation. Thank you.
Fantastic. Selectman Harrington.
Thank you, Chair. So that line now, is it labeled? Is it marked? Is it, like a walkable trail, for instance, or has it all been overgrown in the last, would you say 70 years?
Our operations, oh, go ahead, Nancy.
No, I was going to say, you're going to just give the same answer about operations. Yeah.
Our operations does its due diligence to make sure that the right of way is clear. So because we fly the line once a week to make sure there aren't any encroachments or on any, anybody out there digging near the pipeline, because we need to maintain, the safety of the line, the safety of the community. So we do have strict guidelines that prevent any type of building on the existing right of way where we have both the 16 and the 20-inch pipelines.
So it's all, so you could basically, from West Street, pick up the line and walk back out into the woods on it, on,
Sure,
like
you
open
can follow
trail.
you can definitely follow the pipeline markers.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good question. Selectman Lamoth.
Can any one abutting landowner really cause you a lot of agita and delay the project in any way, shape, or form?
John, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
Yeah, I mean, or I can start,
Nancy,
John, if you want
go
to
ahead,
jump
Nancy.
in there. Yeah, I mean, look, we don't want anybody to have or, cause us agita or feel agita, right? We want to make sure everybody's comfortable what we're doing. Nobody likes living around or near construction. So at some point in the future, we're going to have to address concerns of landowners, and we'll work with them all along the way to try to address their concerns. And we want happy neighbors, and my group is pretty successful at making people happy. I wouldn't say we bat 1,000, but we try really hard to make folks happy.
I understand, your position. My question basically was, and I'm not looking for ammunition to hold against you, but I was just wondering if an owner could really create agita for you, or is this a fait accompli, basically?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tougher one to answer, especially at this early stage. But yeah, like I said, we're proposing to replace a pipeline within an existing easement where we have existing rights, and are, generally speaking, our rights allow us to replace. So I don't foresee that type of agita at this point, but I don't want to say, it could never happen either. So.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Anything else? This is just a preliminary overview. I know we have a lot of updates and a lot of progress to go from here. I just want to thank you for coming on, giving the board this high-level presentation. I'm sure we'll be back in touch through Mike King, have you at a follow-up meeting. And again, we appreciate your time this evening. Mike, anything else before I let these nice people go?
I would just request a copy of the letter in advance so that we can share with the select board so they know it's being communicated with residents.
Fantastic.
Great idea.
We love that.
We'll be happy to do that. And Mr. Chairman, I'm going to try and answer your question too and get you that information about how many gas users there are, both residential and commercial. I think that's a great question. And I think it's probably going to be a little higher than you think. But again, I don't want to be too premature throwing numbers out, but I will follow up with that information to Town Manager King.
We appreciate that. Like I said, information is key. Communication is key. Yeah, so great having you on this evening. Looking forward to hear updates from you regularly when there are such updates. And at this point, we're going to move on. So I would say thanks again for coming on. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on. At this time, we're going to go to tab 6. This is an interview and hopeful appointment of Sean Cunny to the EDC. I believe we have with us EDC Chair Rebecca Zittimer. If I'm reading my emails correctly, I don't believe Sean is able to be with us, but there is an email in our packet and a recommendation letter. Selectman Harrington, can you go to page 38 in the packet and just read that into the record just for...
Yes, Mr. Chair. So it looks like it's an email from Sean Cunny to Amanda Vassapolo, read the appointment and interview for this evening. Hi, Amanda. I apologize, but I found out I have to cover for a coworker who has tested positive with COVID-19 and cannot travel. I will be in Virginia at a sales meeting during a Zoom call. Would I have to wait until December for the next meeting to be interviewed? ? I'm very sorry for this, but I just found out today. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington, Selectman Harrington. Also in our packet, we have Sean's application. and a strong recommendation from Rebecca. So I'm not going to ask you to read the application into the record, obviously, Selectman Harrington, but we do have Rebecca with us, but I would like you to read her recommendation letter, if you don't mind.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So to Wrentham Select Board, 79 South Street, Wrentham, Mass. From Rebecca Zittermeyer, Chair, Wrentham Economic Development Commission, dated November 4th, 2025. Dear Select Board, I would like to nominate Sean Cunny, 25 Robert Topham Drive, for the appointment to the Wrentham Economic Development Commission. I would appreciate your support in confirming this nomination. As a longstanding member of our community, Mr. Cunny has already contributed ideas and feedback to our current EDC projects. He has also demonstrated his commitment by attending several EDC meetings since August of 25. I believe his business experience and knowledge would be a valued addition to our team. I would appreciate your support in appointing him to the final open EDC position. Thank you for considering this appointment. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me, Rebecca Zittermeyer, email edc@wrentham.gov, and then provides her cell phone.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So I personally have no issue with us appointing Sean with the recommendation letter provided and a review of his application. I'll open it up to the board members, though, for any discussion or comment that each board member might have, starting with Selectwoman Rouse.
I agree with that too. I have no concerns and go off of Rebecca's recommendation.
Thank you. Selectman Anderson.
I concur, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Selectman Harrington.
Yeah, I concur, Mr. Chair.
Great. Selectman Lamoth.
No questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Chris Gallo. No questions. So let's go ahead. We know we have an update from Rebecca, which I'm excited to hear about. But let's go ahead then. And the chair would entertain a motion to appoint Sean Cunny to the Economic Development Commission for a term effective immediately and expiring June 30th, 2030.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Lamoth. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Rouse.
Yes.
Selectman Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Selectman Harrington.
Harrington, yes.
Selectman Lamoth.
Lamoth, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Becca, please let Mr. Cunny know that he has to go get sworn in prior to attending his official first meeting as a voting member. Okay?
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, now stay right there. Don't go anywhere, because tab number 7, we have an update from the Economic Development Commission Chair, Rebecca Zittermeyer, and we have a presentation in our packet. It looks like we have Joanna McFarland on with us as well. Joanna, welcome. As I just want to bring the board up to speed, as you very well know, with the passing of a beloved Joe Botash, the EDC lost a member from the select board that sat on the EDC. I had some conversations with Rebecca and Joanna regarding the need to refill that position. After some communication, we decided that although it was a very important role, we felt like the EDC could go on without having direct select board representation, but would have these, however many, once a quarter, a few times a year, let's say, updates where we give an opportunity like this for the EDC to come before our board, kind of fill us in on what's been going on, what their current charge is, and some collaboration and feedback. So that's what this is tonight. And with that being said, I would like to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Becca. Becca, I just want to say that, and Joanna, the board really appreciates all the hard work that you're doing. I know personally from conversations with the both of you, you're making a lot of great efforts and strides forward. And, we're really proud to be a partner with you. So thank you for all your hard work. And let's hear what's going on at the EDC.
Okay, thank you very much for those kind words. Rebecca Zittermeyer, 41 Hancock Street. And I've been a resident in Wrentham for about 32 years now. So just to give you a little bit of background for me. Joanna is the vice chair and I am the chairman. So tonight we're going to we gave you a slide presentation. We don't want to spend any more than 10 minutes on it so that we have time for discussion and we can move through this very quickly. It is pretty much self-explanatory about what we've been doing, in the EDC since the passing of Joe, and kind of rebuilding our commission since our chair, our previous chair had stepped down. So I appreciate you all asking us to join you tonight. Okay, so Amanda's going to help me with a quick slide presentation. If you could put up the first slide, Amanda, I'd appreciate it.
There it is, Becca.
Okay, thank you. We'll move through this. And excuse me from looking down or looking straight at the papers. I can't really see very well. So we've really focused on building our new commission. Joanna and I were able to enter new leadership roles in March of 2025 of this year. And since then, we were down 2 members, and we have really done a lot of recruiting to the public to try to get our new members. So you just appointed the second of our 2 open positions. We appreciate that. We're really trying to balance out the commission to have a diverse group of folks who we have new members, new community members, but we also have a really deep bench as far as residents in our community who have been in the community for a very long time, and each member brings strength to the commission. And we really look to have people look at the commission as far as re-energizing and recommitting to be involved. So using everybody's strength, like Jeff Robeson knows everyone in town because he knows, owns Sunoco, and he knows everyone. So you want to get the word out to anybody or take the temperature of what's going on, Jeff is your guy. We have a new accountant on. Tatiana is a new member of the community, and her impressions of being a new member of the community are very valuable to us. Joanna has grown up and lived here all her life. I've lived here 32 years. We have a software engineer. Joanna has an economic background with I believe, a master's degree in economics. We have a statistician in Michael Oregano, and we also have a software engineer in Sean, who you just appointed. We also have one associate member and a second one looking to join, but we just brought on Mike Glass as an associate member who's strong in real estate, and has an interest in the downtown because he just bought the medical building downtown. So we're really looking to have a diverse group of folks. So that's really what we had concentrated on as far as our membership goes. Any questions? Move on. We can move on to slide 2.
Go right ahead. Thanks.
Is that up there? Yeah. So these are the projects that we had kind of come up with in March to start to look at for the commission. The first one was community outreach. We really wanted to get a temperature of the community, so we did do a survey, which Joanna will talk about in a second. And we also look to start rebuilding our business relationships. And I'll talk a little bit more about detail on that. Number 2 is DECA. We really believe that we have a resource in King Philip being a part of our community, and we're lucky enough to have it in Wrentham. So the DECA group, for those of you who don't know, is a serious business group within our King Philip community. And they are award-winning. They are extremely involved in business and marketing, and can be a really valuable resource for us to use in the future. So I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a second. Third is event planning, and this really goes to how we can revitalize our economic development as far as being a destination for different events, including weddings, but also things like FIFA coming up. The World Cup is going to be a huge a piece that I'd like to have a further discussion with you after this presentation, because I do think that that could be a huge focus for 2027 and 2026. Sorry, 2026. And then finally, we have started to take a look at the underutilized properties within the town to, look at how can we help businesses and landlords kind of marry up to try to get some more businesses in those vacant spots that we may have, and what kind of tools we could offer them. Any questions on that? Next slide, we'll go into a little bit more detail on it. Next slide, or you can see the things that we've completed in these areas. The first one with the community outreach, like I said, we did a survey that kind of gave us similar results to what happened with the master plan, but it's good, 3 years after the master plan, to know that the community still feels the same about certain aspects. And one of the things that we came out of it learning is that, we may need to distinguish ourselves a little bit more, because they really don't look at us as a resource for business or economic information. We found that to be interesting, that they really weren't sure what our role was. So we really need to try to distinguish that. The other thing is, we really try to focus on rebuilding some relationships within the town commissions and committees, namely like the planning board. Tom Maloney came to several of our meetings. We do have guests that come to our meetings on a monthly basis. So every other month we'll have a guest. We had Greg Enosin one time. John Naff is coming in next month to just forge that relationship, understand what their roles are and how we can help them out, and how we could be support. Not necessarily how they can help us, but how we can help them. Next is just the pieces that we've kind of done and completed in DECA. We've got youth advisors. We are going to be the jury for some of their projects, which is pretty exciting. And James Dow is working closely in hand with Michael Oregano on him formulating a plan with DECA so that they can now be kind of the youth advisors. And Michael has been point person from the commission on that project. And then finally, the event piece is interesting, because we've done everything from go to the town clerk and got a whole list of all of the businesses in town, broken down, how many restaurants we have, with a list of the names of 38 restaurants. Looked at a lot of data driven there, and parsed out our beauty businesses, our all these different categories of businesses, which can also be found on the website. But it's interesting to see where we can focus our opportunities in these different categories of businesses. And with our new relationship with going to the Wrentham Business Collaborative on a regular basis every month, we get to meet some of those businesses. Any questions about this slide or anything that I just said?
Sounds good. You're doing great. I'd say go through it, and then we can stop and pause.
Okay.
For questions.
All right. At this point, I'm going to introduce Joanna so she can just give you a high-level overview of the survey. The next slide. Amanda, I'll let Joanna speak up on the next two slides, and then we'll wrap it up.
Just so you know, survey slide is up.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much, Becca, and thank you, everyone. As you know, last fall, the EDC came up with two surveys, one for Wrentham residents and one for Wrentham business owners. We conducted the surveys via the town website, and we introduced them at the special town meeting on December 16th last year. The surveys went on until about May. We got a decent outcome, not as obviously as many people as we would like, but we had some data to report. I believe in your packets you have the full analysis of the survey to read at your leisure. And if you'd like, I can actually provide you with the original survey questions. There were only about 5 on each for the residents and for the business owners. I'm going to just talk very briefly about the resident survey. Question 1, for example, asked, when you're looking for a business in town, how do you typically conduct your research? And unsurprisingly, most of our residents look at Facebook or go to word of mouth. Some use Google, and virtually no one goes to like a Better Business Bureau or a Chamber of Commerce type search. So what this question helped the EDC answer is, how important is it for the town to maintain a business directory online? That was one of our initiatives, and we had started building one out with the help of Rachel. And now we're kind of thinking that might not be our best effort, since we don't know that it will be very much utilized. I'm going to skip ahead to question 3 because it's on this slide as well. Asked residents to identify the top 3 areas of town from a list of 7 areas, basically the outskirts of town. And again, not surprisingly, downtown for development, Route 1 came in second, and the Wrentham Outlets area. This is exactly in line with what we saw in the master plan a few years ago. So again, not a big surprise. And on the next slide, please, was question 2, which asked residents, what type of businesses would you like to see come to Wrentham? You know, should Crosby Valve eventually get developed or some new businesses come into town? And this was really interesting. The top 4, and of course we gave 17 different, I believe it was 15 or 17 different types of businesses, and let residents choose as many of them as they would like. The top 4 that came in were all food related businesses. So full service restaurants, specialty food shops, grocery stores, fast casual. Things residents, as you can see, don't want are more hotels, automotive, and retail clothing. So this is, we thought, was interesting for the EDC and for Rachel's office. Should a developer come in to Rachel's office and say, hey, you know, what would Wrentham like to see? She's got some data to pass on to that person. And our final question, number 4, was, is there anything else you'd like to share with the EDC? And we received 27 different types of responses. All of, again, they're in your survey analysis, so you can read through those. They were everything from, thank you very much for asking the questions, to could you please fix the sidewalks, to I would like to see the entire downtown mowed down and start over. So this kind of gave us an idea of, perhaps residents don't really know what it is that the EDC does. And with that, we decided we needed to somehow advertise ourselves a bit more. And we're working on putting hopefully an insert into the property taxes that will kind of, try to explain what it is that we do, give some places where people can go to be able to ask us more questions. We really want to portray the EDC as the, key liaison between town government, businesses, and residents. So that's kind of where we're going with this. And on the next slide, if I could bring up the vacant to vibrant idea. So this is a brand new initiative that we are just kicking off. We've honestly just started talking about it. Rebecca and I in September, went to a Franklin Arts and Culture Symposium. And this was all about how to do pop-up shops. So this is the ideas from much larger towns. I believe Marlborough was one of the key players in this. What these large towns do is they go to the state of Massachusetts and they they ask for grant money to buy a shed, which then they will outfit with electricity, AC, paint, all that, shelving, everything. And then they put these sheds either in, municipal spaces, parking lots, or their town greens, or wherever they have room. And they invite businesses to come in and try to run their business for a short period of time. They can lease it anywhere from 1 week, where maybe they're open only 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to a seasonal, to several months. And the idea sounds great, but I think Wrentham is just too small to start putting sheds up in our municipal lot. So
We don't want to do that.
So we were thinking, how can we take this brilliant idea and transform it for something that we can do? And so we are coming up with an idea of, maybe we can create a guidebook that would be both for landlords and business owners, that would cover things like, as you can see here, short-term leases, contracts, what type of insurance to have, who's responsible for outfitting the space, who's responsible for doing the advertising. And then when something happens, an event happens, like, Pink Pigeon sadly left us a few months back, and that space was left open for a few months. If we had something like this in place, and perhaps we had names of small businesses, artisans, crafters who would love a seasonal shop for a month or two, maybe we could, merge those to the landowner, the landlord, and this potentially startup business. Things that they said that these type of pop-up shops were great for is an existing business that wants to test out a new market or test out a new product line or concept of some sort, or an artisan who's really doing seasonal work, or a potter who wants to sell their goods but not for too long. So there might be something there that we think that we could pull it together and see if we can, keep Wrentham vibrant.
Thank you, Joanna.
Sounds good.
Next slide, Amanda. So just wrapping up. So I think going into the next year, we really need to have a discussion, hopefully after this, about the World Cup coming to Foxborough. There's a huge upside to economic development there, and we really should have a discussion about what kind of impacts we're looking at having with FIFA coming to town. We plan on continuing our work in these general areas that we've discussed with you, unless you'd like us to go in a different direction. So that kind of leads us into this discussion and what your feedback is, what your thoughts are, and what you'd like to see us be doing. So that's pretty much the presentation. Thank you, Amanda, for doing that.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Becker and Joanna, for that presentation. I got to say, it was impressive. Seems like there's a lot of new energy and ideas coming through the EDC, and it's exciting. I'm excited at what I'm hearing, and I think you've taken the charge that we've had and other people have had, and you've really put it into practice. I always say, and I said this to you the last time we spoke, Becca, my vision for the EDC is like the cheerleader, for the cheerleaders of our community that welcome existing businesses, welcome new businesses, bring existing and new businesses together with the residents, driving people to wherever we have business in town so that they can spend money, and creating destinations, helping to create destinations so people want to come to Wrentham. I think many of the ideas that you guys have shown us this evening encompass just that. So I think there's some great stuff there. We've talked about that too. Like, I know you mentioned like that, the wedding venue thing. I totally think there's something there, some kind of a collaboration with Lake Pearl, Proctor Mansion, Sweat Park, a venue idea, the restaurants. I really think there's something there. I think there's a lot of great ideas there. So I'm gonna be quiet. No, you're very welcome. I'm gonna be quiet and open it up to the other select board members for feedback, questions, and concerns. I would say this though, I don't think the World Cup conversation is a 1, 2, or 5 minute conversation. What I would recommend is we take that offline. Mike King can provide some very interesting information that he knows from Marcus Vaughn and Jake Auchinclosh, the congressman, and maybe we could take that in a smaller group, kind of put our heads together to see, what opportunities there might be for the EDC and Wrentham. I'm thinking like hotels. We have hotels in town. Is there a way to funnel that traffic to us? Keep them in our town, get them to spend money and enjoy the World Cup at the same time. Unlike Congressman Auchinclosh, I think there's going to be a lot of attendance. I think it already is sold out, even though he didn't agree with me, but well, that's another story for another day, but there's going to be a lot of great opportunities. So with that being said, Selectwoman Rouse, what do you have to say about all
You
this?
summarized that perfectly, and you took a lot of words out of my mouth. But Becca and Joanna, that was excellent. Thank you so much. Really great hearing this information. I was going to just say what Chris did in terms of the vacant to vibrant with the World Cup is a great opportunity to tap into. Really, how we can utilize that and even do some of like even those pop-up sheds or some sort of aspect of really capitalizing on such a big event coming in with such a large amount of people. So I think, that's a spectacular idea. And having participated in your meetings, I think you guys are doing an outstanding job, your leadership, your charge, and the people that you're bringing in. So thank you for all your dedication and work in trying to establish these relationships and help the businesses and getting the feedback from people too. I think that's pretty spectacular, not always done. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I was taking notes and I was muted. So thank you for that, Selectwoman Rouse. An idea just came to me that I won't share now. But Selectman Anderson, thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first of all, Rebecca, that was a nice presentation. I really love your vision and the mission that you're trying to accomplish. Those projects that you talked about and touched on, I thought we're heading in the right direction. So I would just ask you to keep up the good work, and if the Board of Selectmen can be of any assistance, please feel free to reach back out to us and keep us updated.
Will do. Thank you.
Excellent. Selectman Harrington.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yeah, I mean, I can't reiterate enough what a great presentation it was. It's great to see the engagement that you have in the EDC and moving it forward in a very positive fashion. I know like Metro West has a consortium of various towns that they get involved with, and I know at one point there was some talk of maybe something with Wrentham, Plainville, maybe Foxborough.
Yes.
Doing some kind of a joint mailer flyer.
They have a website. They actually have a website.
The little magazines that they put out, for the Tri-Town or something along those lines.
Billy,
Yes.
she said, we do, Mike, what's the website that we have with Foxborough and,
So there is a Foxborough, Plainville, and Wrentham collaboration. There is a marketing website that the state actually pays for through casino gambling mitigation funds.
Oh, excellent.
That's a current effort that our economic development and town planner is currently a part of, Rachel Benson.
They currently utilize that. That's great. Fantastic.
and is the EDC involved with that?
Yes,
as well?
through the chair to Mike. There is a group called Create, which actually I'm going to a meeting on February 14th, which brings together all those towns that we do receive funds from the mitigation fund that Mike King is talking about. And I'm going to represent Wrentham to see if we can get more of those funds and get more of that support for our town, whether it be marketing dollars or flyers or brochures like Mr. Harrington's talking about.
Yeah.
So we are involved with that very closely, Rachel and myself.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Selectman Lamoth.
Thank you, Rebecca and Joanna. It's a great presentation. You've piqued my interest, and as a rookie here, I may have to sit in on a few of your meetings just to learn more.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a lot of great stuff there, a lot of great feedback. Like I said, let's definitely continue the conversation. There's definitely, I think, some incredible opportunities to the World Cup, and I can't resist. I will share my quick idea with you. Think of this: World Cup at the Common. We close the town common down. We have big screen TV set up. We have all the restaurants in town come make food from all the different parts of the world where the soccer teams are from. We watch soccer games. We have a couple libations. We have beverages. We bring people that are watching those games, staying in the hotels, down to the town common in Wrentham to spend money, mix them with the existing residents, and have a lot of fun. Imagine that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Mr. Chair, there are several resources that actually Rachel shared with both Joanna and I and the board and our commission that have guidelines for watch parties and ideas for watch parties. So there's a lot of resources available to us. We don't have to recreate the wheel, although I love your idea too. So we can enhance it and look at those resources. There's states, there's 11 cities in the United States that are hosting these games. There's 43 teams, 48 games, and they're, it's a big deal. You're looking at an opportunity between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of revenue coming into the state. So yeah, I love that idea. I think it's great.
Listen, that was that could be the worst idea that you hear, but
No,
again,
no, it's
just to
great.
get the creative
It's
juices flowing. No idea is a bad idea unless it's a really bad idea. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. Keep up the creativity. There's just an elevated level of energy that we can see. We support you, and let's keep the collaboration going. And yeah, that's it. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Okay, moving on. Now is the time in our meeting where we go to public comment, tab 8. So residents who wish to participate in public comment will be allotted 2 minutes to speak and must state their name and address for the record. At the start of the comment, a timer will be sent via message from Amanda Vazapolo. It should be visible on the top of the screen, and an alarm will chime when time is up. We'll give an opportunity right now for a public comment. Couple quick seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Mike King, turn it over to you for our town manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to start by providing an update on the November 3rd town meeting. Town meeting acted on 10 articles last evening, all of which passed. These articles included the new Public Works facility, which passed unanimously, and MBTA Communities Act compliant zoning, both of which were the subject of significant public outreach this fall leading up to town meeting. The town meeting result information has been posted to the town website and social media. The FY26 tax rate classification hearing will be held during the next select board meeting on November 18th with the Board of Assessors in attendance. The Board of Assessors are currently finalizing their presentation this week.
Yes, agreed.
And will be making it available for the select board's review in advance of the classification hearing. The Board of Assessors presentation will include a recommendation. I also have an update on the King Philip Regional School District's proposed MSBA accelerator repair project. The King Philip Regional School District has been invited to participate in the Massachusetts School Building Authority's accelerated repair program for potential roof replacement and heat pump conversion projects at both the high school and middle school. The MSBA has communicated that they may reimburse up to about 51% of eligible project costs. At this time, the district does not have an estimated cost for the schematic design phase. During a select board meeting in September, Superintendent Drolet noted that the district may use excess and deficiency funds, the regional school district's equivalent of free cash, to cover design expenses. If sufficient excess and deficiency funds are not available, the district plans to request additional funding at town meetings from member communities scheduled for spring 2026. And lastly, Wrentham will be holding its inaugural employee recognition event on Thursday, November 13th. Town offices will be closed that morning from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. to allow staff to attend. We look forward to officially recognizing employees for their years of dedicated service to the town. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mike, sounds great. Now, let me just ask you a question on that employee recognition. Is that, so we're doing the thing at the Rice Complex that we do in the summertime, and then we do this as well, and then we do the sweat, don't we do a employee thing at the Sweat Beach too?
That's the senior cookout, senior and employee cookout.
All right. Okay. No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's great. It's nice that we're doing a few things a few times a year for the staff, letting them know how much they're appreciated. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So good job. I think it's a good morale builder.
And I'll just clarify, the event that we have in June is an employee appreciation event. The employee recognition event is we're going to be recognizing employees specifically hitting milestone events for years of service. So we have employees that, have been here for 30 years and haven't been officially recognized. So we're really excited about this event coming forward.
That's awesome. You got some oldies like Bill McGrath, right? Some old timers, right? Tony Marino. I'm going to get a few text messages later.
Actually, they're not even on the 30-year list. There's actually some who are longer, like Ray Rose.
Oh, well, Ray deserves, I love that guy. How long has Ray been an employee?
I want to say it was close to 30 It was 1987, so if I could do the math in my head,
38.
38. Good job, Bill.
there's one person longer than him in recreation, Sharon. You can-
Wow, it's great. Well, guess what? It's a testament to Wrentham being a great, not only a great place to live, but also a great place to work. And that's a testament to our town management team, that we've had for decades now. So anyway, great job. I love it. Great job again, Mike. I want to say on behalf of the board, you did a great job last night at the town meeting. I heard many people say that our town manager was very knowledgeable of all the topics. I just want you to have that feedback from the board and from the constituents. So appreciate that. And Amanda, Greg, everyone that went into all the hard work that went into town meeting. And I said this to Brian last night. I'm thrilled that we were able to get the DPW a building. I said, wait till you see the level of scrutiny from me now moving forward. And he was loving it. He was excited about it, right, Brian? So I'm so happy for those guys and girls. They deserve a facility that they can actually grow and be productive and be proud of. And we're finally going to be able to deliver that to them under this town management team and this select board. So I'm proud of this board and this town management team for being able to put that together. With that being said, anyone have any questions for our town manager about his town manager report? No? Mike, anything else before I turn it over to Jim Anderson?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Selectman Anderson, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Lamoth. Any further discussion? We hope not. Being none. Selectwoman Rouse.
Yes.
Anderson.
Anderson's a definite yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Lamoth.
Moth, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.